Hello! Welcome to Stories with Mama Hedgehog. This is a stream that happens every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 7:30. I do apologize for missing last Thursday. I had a prior engagement and had not figured out yet how to do the pre-setup videos that would post in my absence, so hopefully we can arrange better next time. But in the meantime, this is our third official streaming session and we're very excited. So yay! We're trying our live captions, hopefully. I will find out at the end of this video. So thanks very much to everyone who's helped make this streaming happen, and especially to the accessibility coordinator who is typing up our live captions as we speak. So tonight I'm going to be telling a story. I always play about half an hour of music and then take a quick break and then tell a 20-minute or so children's story. So this is the story segment of our stream. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. McGiggles, our guest for today. This is Mr. McGiggles. He is a red, white, and pink striped bunny rabbit, a stuffed bunny rabbit, with a black button nose and an orange scarf. And he is going to be helping us with our story tonight. So let's get started. Once upon a time, just the other day, Mr. McGiggles was looking for something. He looked high, and he looked low, and he looked all around, but he could not find what he was looking for anywhere. This made him very sad, because, you see, Mr. McGiggles was looking for a friend. Is that right, Mr. McGiggles? Yeah, Mr. McGiggles was looking for a friend. So he couldn't find a friend anywhere. So he decided to go look outside of his house for a friend. So he got out of bed and he put on his favorite orange scarf, and then he brushed his teeth. And when he was all ready to go, he hopped outside of his door and went looking for a friend. Now, if you have ever been looking for a friend, you will know why this was so important to Mr. McGiggles. Because friends are very nice people to have around. When you need someone to talk to, you can talk to a friend. When you're feeling sad, sometimes your friend can help you feel better by giving you a hug or listening to you talk about your sad feelings. Friends are wonderful people, and Mr. McGiggles really wanted one. So he went looking. First, he decided to go to the pet store because he had heard that pets make really great friends. So he hopped along, hop, 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 until he came to the pet store. Then he knocked on the door. Boop, boop, boop. The pet store owner opened the door. Creak! "What do you want?" they said. Mr. McGiggles said, "I want a friend. Do you have any friends here for me?" "We only have pets," said the pet store owner. "And we don't give pets to bunny rabbits." "But I'm a very responsible bunny rabbit," said Mr. McGiggles. "I'm sorry, it just seems weird to us. We don't give pets to bunny rabbits." "But I'm very lonely," said Mr. McGiggles, "and I need a friend." "I'm very sorry, but you're going to have to look somewhere else," said the pet store owner. Mr. McGiggles was starting to feel very sad. "But where should I look?" he asked. "You could try the garden. Bunny rabbits go to the garden and eat carrots," said the pet store owner. Mr. McGiggles felt very sad and angry because the pet store owner was stereotyping him, which means that they were thinking that he must act in a way that they think all bunny rabbits act, even when not all bunny rabbits act that way. It's not a good thing to stereotype people. "But I can't eat carrots," said Mr. McGiggles, "because I am a stuffed bunny rabbit, and I can't digest them." "Oh," said the pet store owner, "that's too bad. No pets for bunny rabbits." And they shut the door. Bam! Mr. McGiggles was heartbroken. He sniffled a little bit and was like, "What am I going to do now? I really need a friend." So he thought about it for a long time while he hopped along. Hop, hop, hop. And at last he decided, "I know. I'm going to go to the library." So he hopped to the library. Hop, hop, hop. And when he came to the library, he knocked. Bop, bop, bop. "Shh!" said the librarian. "I'm so sorry," said Mr. McGiggles as quietly as he could. "But I am looking for a friend." The librarian opened the door very quietly. I can't even make a noise to tell you what it sounded like because there was no sound. It was very quiet. And he looked out at Mr. McGiggles and said, "Hello." "Hello," said Mr. McGiggles again. "I'm looking for a friend. Do you have any friends here for me?" "We have books," said the librarian. "Would a book make a good friend?" asked Mr. McGiggles. "I don't know, but I think yes," said the librarian. "I spend all my time with them, and they're pretty great." "Okay," said Mr. McGiggles. "Would you mind pointing me in the direction of a particularly friendly book?" "I'd try the children's section," said the librarian. "They have some really friendly books over there." So Mr. McGiggles hopped back to the children's section. And he found a very great book, which maybe I will tell you about sometime, if you're lucky. He took the book off the shelf and sat down and started reading it. That is the sound a brain makes when it is reading a book. It was a very good book, and Mr. McGiggles spent a long time reading it because it was a chapter book, and he read all the chapters. But after he had sat there for at least 2 hours and read all the chapters, he got to the end, and then he felt sad again. "You know," he said, "the problem with books being friends is that they end. And they can't talk to you. And they can't give you a hug, except in your brain. But I want a hug outside of my brain. I want a hug from a real person." And then he felt bad because he kind of thought that books were real people. But he was having trouble distinguishing, which means telling things apart with words and stuff like that. And so he decided to just stick with his gut, and he decided he wanted a real person friend, and that didn't mean a book today. So he hopped back up to the front desk and waited until the librarian looked over at him, and he said, "Excuse me, I finished the book, and now I would like a friend. Do you have any actual friends? More personish and less bookish friends?" "No, I don't," said the librarian. "Just books. I'm so sorry." "I'm sorry too," said Mr. McGiggles. And he walked out of the library. He was feeling very sad by now. He had looked in his house, and in the pet store, and in the library, but he couldn't find a friend anywhere. How was he supposed to have a friend? He hopped along until he came to a nice little park in the middle of town, and he saw a bench, and he sat down on the bench. And he was feeling so sad that he started to cry. He cried and he cried, and he thought more sad thoughts which made him cry harder. And then he thought about how he didn't have a friend, which was the saddest thought of all, and that made him cry even harder. And it was a very sad time for Mr. McGiggles. And if you have ever had a sad time, you might understand how badly he felt. Being sad does not necessarily feel good. And after he had been sad for some time, he just sat there and sniffled quietly and thought still very sad thoughts, but without crying. And when this had been going on for a long time, suddenly he noticed that someone had come and sat down on the bench a little ways down from him. He looked over at the person sitting next to him, and the person was sniffling. Mr. McGiggles felt like he shouldn't intrude, which means push himself into someone else's space. So he looked back at his lap. And then after a while he checked back in on the person sitting next to him, and they were still crying. So he looked back at his lap. And And after a while, he looked back over to see how the person was doing. And they had stopped crying, and they were looking at him. And both of them got embarrassed and looked back at their laps as quickly as possible. But then they started to peek at each other out of the sides of their eyes. And when they realized that they were both interested in what the other person was doing, Mr. McGiggles said, "Hi. I noticed you were crying. I've been having a really bad day too. I'm so sorry you're having sad feelings, it looks like." "Well," said the elephant, "for the person sitting next to him is a little brown stuffed elephant. Well, I have been having a very bad day too. I'm sorry about your bad day." "It's okay," said Mr. McGiggles. "I've just been looking for something." "Me too," said the elephant. "I've been looking high and low and all around. I've been looking in and out and all about, and in all the wrong places apparently." And the elephant started to cry again. "Oh," said Mr. McGiggles, "I'm so sorry. I've been looking in all the wrong places too. I looked in the pet store and in the library, and I can't find a friend anywhere." "Oh," said the elephant, "you're looking for a friend too? I'm looking for a friend. It seems to be a common problem, which means a problem that a lot of people have." "Yes," said Mr. McGiggles, "it does indeed." They sat there quietly for a little while and thought their sad thoughts. And then Mr. McGiggles suddenly had a flash of inspiration, which means a really exciting and interesting thought about something new and interesting that he could do. And he said, "Hey, do you want to be my friend?" "Oh," said the elephant. "Can people do that? Can they just ask each other to be their friends and be friends?" "I don't know," said Mr. McGiggles, "but I think it might be worth a try. I'm pretty sure when it comes to friends, it works however everyone is comfortable with it." "Oh," said the elephant. "Well, I would be very comfortable being your friend." "Really?" said Mr. McGiggles. "Because I would be very comfortable being your friend." "Then let's be friends," said the elephant. "That sounds awesome," said Mr. McGiggles. "How do you be friends with somebody?" "I don't know," said the elephant. "But I think it probably involves eating ice cream, for starters, and then a lot of talking after that." "Okay," said Mr. McGiggles. "Do you want to go get ice cream?" "I do," said the elephant. "That's a great idea." So Mr. McGiggles and the elephant got up and were just about to go get ice cream when Mr. McGiggles suddenly had a thought. "Excuse me," he said. "I just realized I don't know your name, and I haven't introduced myself. I'm Mr. McGiggles." "And I'm Dobby the elephant," said Dobby. "Very nice to meet you," said Mr. McGiggles. "Do you shake hands? Sometimes grown-ups do that when they meet each other." "No, I'm not not really comfortable doing that, said Dobby. Okay, said Mr. McGiggles. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. It's okay, said the elephant. No problem. And with that, they headed off for ice cream. Now, you can be sure that Mr. McGiggles and Dobby the elephant are going to have lots more adventures together, and I will tell you about some of them. But I wanted to tell you this story first, because this is how Mr. McGiggles and Dobby the elephant became friends. I hope you've enjoyed this story, and check in next time, Tuesday, at 7:30 for more music and then another story. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.